right, we're done with the appointment, heading back to see some of the construction again. We'll walk back a different way. We like to see these guys working. Spraying it with water, keeping the dust down. I think they have to dig down a little bit for the footings for the building. Obviously, non-construction, but just observing things new life. Really anxious to see what happens with the little greenhouse. So strange. Other equipment over there ready to go. And the house here on the corner, it sat here empty for many, many years. As it fell apart, people broke the windows. Different projects tried to come through that were not approved, and apparently for whatever reason. Oh good, it looks like this magnolia tree here is being protected. Hopefully they'll be leaving that for the shade on the corner. Got the little screen around it. Alright, it's time to go. Hills aren't very green right now. So they call it the Golden State. I think it's more like the Brown State. Brown grass. Alright, we're walking the back side of the school now. Not going to film any little ones. People behind me, but they're crossing there. The city has a lot of pretty trees. Actually, the county. There's one of those purple trees. They're called, they're so pretty. And I make satchels, and those petals smell so good for the satchels. Very fragrant. And the kids have done, until we get past. I wish they had a fresh bloom of one of these. These are old blooms with this flower when they're fresh. It's just so interesting. So they have their little, not little, look at, dang, the tomatoes are doing good. This little garden is done here, and kale. Ooh, pretty, what is that? Oh. That's the miner's lettuce. Oh no, that's not. So, yeah, look at these edible flowers and leaves. Geraniums are probably for the bugs. So yeah, little garden there. Continuing on the walk. Continuing on the walk. You see what I mean about some of these trees are huge. Cop volunteer. I want to see the size of this other tree here. See some of these really well developed, pretty trees. I'm a tree hugger and I'm proud of it. Tree hugger. Another pretty little doggy going for a walkie little doggy. Oh, I got the information about that. The recall, I guess there's school board members that people want off because of the way that they handled the COVID situation, which I feel is unfortunate. I feel like all the powers that be on lower level to the top should have been more transparent through all this and just admitted, we don't know, we're learning. We don't know, we're learning. This is what we think, this is what we hope, this is what we expect. Instead of doing that, they made definitive type statements such as, if you get the vaccine, you do not have to wear a mask anymore. Well, here is, and in many areas, they're mandating the vaccines to come back. Here's another little cute little guy here in the car. So now the people that got the vaccines are upset. Don't blame them. I do not blame them, is what I mean. And that's when people don't want to cooperate and they get angry. Because all the misinformation and things that aren't told and things that are hidden. Delta variant, they're saying it's 1,000 times more droplets come out in a sneeze and such. And instead of a 2-week approximate incubation period, it is a 4-day. So you can see why it's taken its stronghold, because it can replicate so quickly. As I said before, I unfortunately was furloughed and then terminated due to COVID. 16-year career. Don't know what I'll be doing next, but I trust in the Lord. Hey, what are you doing? Cool. I'm doing my YouTube channel right now. So you're on it? Were you just seeing if I wanted to write or something? Sorry, what? Yeah, I'll walk. But thanks for checking. See you there. That's funny. That was very nice. That was my child. My oldest child. See, very considerate. I want to say I raised him right. He's a good man. My daughter's a good woman. I'm a good woman. My man's a good man. Yeah, we're pretty basic, but we care. Care about the world, people, animals. I have noticed, when your kids grow up, they have their own views, and we are not a political family. I never really had politics in the household. I'm nonpartisan, actually, because I don't want to be part of either of those crappy-ass teams. Both sides are corrupt and full of it. I think our government needs to get back to one-party system, one government united for all. We'd have a lot less to fight about. And I know the younger voters are registering as nonpartisan more and more. And that is the shift that we need. When the numbers are higher in the nonpartisan or some of these, whatever the parties are outside of Democrat and Republican, dilute those numbers down, take their power away, and then they'll really have to start working for us. But a lot of things are ingrained, generational, where one family will just vote whichever party it is that each generation has, even though there's no reason behind it, no research behind it. So the point I'm trying to get at is my son has a little bit of different views than I do on some of this. My daughter and I seem to see more eye to eye, and that's evolving and changing as life in the world evolves and changes. I have a little story up here to tell you guys about something that happened. It's not going to seem as dramatic. Oh, Pacific Bell, now known as AT&T. My mother's mother worked at Pac Bell, retired from. My mother started a job there at 17 years old, and also early retirement because she got ill, but she did work there 30 years. So it's kind of cool to see the Pac Bell sign there. You don't see that much. They used to call it Ma Bell. So right up here, this house beyond the fence, there was a major house fire years ago. I actually have photos of it. I'll supersede those onto the screen here so you guys can see. It was a horrible fire. And the man was a retired veteran, so he had a lot of ammunition stored in exterior sheds. So for hours and hours and hours, you would hear bullets going off very close to where I lived. to where I literally fled the apartment thinking we were burning down. I thought it was fireworks explosions. So this house here is about a block away from the house fire that I'm referring to. I was wandering around here that day while we were out here watching the fire, and I spotted smoke coming from, I'll walk over there actually. It was a pretty trippy situation. It was coming from, can I get over there? I feel like they've changed the configuration a little bit of the house. Okay, it was different than that fencing wasn't there, I don't think. Anyway, saw the smoke coming. And what had happened is some embers had flown from down here. You'll see how far it is, just to show you how, and it was not that windy that day. But the fire itself kind of makes its own weather and, you know, smoke up to the sky and cinders blowing. So it blew to the back of this house and started a fire in their woodshed. So I ran back to the firemen who were on scene at the fire here and told them. And they said they couldn't go to the fire because it had to go through the calling system. And I said, but it's burning right over there right now. They said, sorry, we need to. So I just ran. I took 2 teenagers along with, and we grabbed the garden hoses and started putting out the fire. Went back, and then I told the firefighters what had gone on and that we put the fire out. And then within a few hours, all the neighboring homes got a 911 reverse call asking them to check out their exterior buildings and such for possible embers and fire and whatnot. So yeah, it was pretty crazy actually. So those teenagers were a hero. That was the good part. The bureaucracy of the fire department was the ridiculous part. That you could literally be looking at a fire starting and tell me you can't go there because it has to go through a dispatch system. It was incredible. That always reminds me of Survivor off the island. A little tiki arrangement there. All right, so we're getting closer to where that house fire was. And you can see how far I've walked and where that ember ended up down there. I'm glad those teenagers came out there and helped that day. I'm not super... Oh, I wonder why. It's really weird. They like cut... I don't know. It's true. I was going to say I don't stay too calm in panicking situations, so... Although I could have gone there myself and grabbed the hose. I just wanted a team to come with me. All right, so this is one of the houses that burnt down. At the time, this was a assisted living home, and they had like a wheelchair ramp and all that out front. Look at, they're taping me while I'm taping them. But this house here, the next one, is where the fire originated. So it burnt this former home to the ground, spread to the one here, and burnt that one to the ground as well. So both these are nice new houses. This house was kind of a little bit like it had many, many years of memories inside, let's just say. You could literally see, and then the fire also damaged this side of this home slightly too, which was repaired. Yeah, you could see like book pages swirling up through the top and all kinds of oh, there's a skull. Another person, man, take advantage of the square foot price for getting rid of the grass. If you're not going to water it anyway, we're probably going to be getting water restrictions, rationing. There's already limits on days of the week to water and stuff like this. We've been putting a bucket in our shower before we, when you let the water run as it's warming up, and we let that bucket of clean water fill, and we use that for watering. We can even use it for flushing the toilet, I guess. I mean, just other usages for the water. It's really pretty today, actually. I kind of wish I could just walk and walk and walk, but I got a lot of stuff to do at home, unfortunately. These houses up here that we're going to pass. Look at the size of that tree. So these houses over here are modeled after Victorian, so they're actually kind of cool looking. And then I have one more story we get up here about something that happened last year, maybe a year and a half ago, and then we'll wrap it up. So there was a really bad accident right up here. I'll be showing you the marks on the ground. It started where a lady sideswiped some cars by the Ford dealership, maybe 3 miles from here. Some citizens decided to chase that person for hitting the cars and running. And she fled from that location, speeding all the way down this road, lost control, and smacked into a pole, which then overturned her vehicle, and she died right there instantly. It took them a long time to come. Yeah, this lady likes plants over here. It took them a long time to get here. Well, unfortunately, the deceased woman was partially ejected out of the vehicle. Some of the residents here in the houses had a bird's eye view of all that. There's not a whole lot of marks left because it's been a bit, but you can see a tire marking here, some other markings. The other tire. By the time the vehicle stopped, it's too hard to tell where the markings are now. But the vehicle was partly on the sidewalk and partly in the street. I want to say right here. Oh, and there was a parked car here as well that she hit. I think that's what caused her to overturn. Really sad. And the crazy thing was, there was never a bit in the paper. Well, we don't have a local paper, but none of the local news, none of the TV news, none of that had any mention of what had happened. What we did know was from neighbors who saw it and talked to the witnesses and such, the bits that we did know. And there's also photos of that somewhere, actually, that I can superimpose. I just remembered. All right, so see, as we're building this channel, coming up with ideas and ways to make it more interesting for all those nosy minds such as myself. Living curious. It's kind of what we're leaning towards for a channel name right now. All right. There's another nice walk, signing out.